Perfect. And we're rolling. Patty, today we are going to talk about UFOs because I mean UAPs, by the
Oh,
way.
yeah,
The new word UAPs, because I feel like you're the only person in the United States of America who has not
probably.
been talking about this and who has not heard about this. And since you and I both work in media, we're both content creators, I have to tell you, I've like put out a couple of posts just mentioning aliens or UFOs, and it goes crazy. They're like my best viral posts. I'm getting a lot of comments. I get both sides of it too. Some people are like, "Oh yeah," they think it's silly and whatever. Other people are 100% serious, and they're like specifically saying to me, "Hey, the reason why you're not seeing aliens is because you don't meditate the right way, or
Really?
you're not yes, you're not, like, conscious enough yet," or something like that. So, let's roll with it. You've heard nothing about
I
it.
haven't. The last I heard was when they changed the terminology from UFO to UAP, or I heard UUP, underwater.
Oh,
What is it?
right.
So what's the rest of it?
The underwater.
Unidentified aerial phenomena. So unidentified underwater phenomena.
Oh, I got you, right.
Yeah.
So, here's the amazing thing for me, for somebody who has studied media my entire career, um, and all of that, is that, we have this like thread going through popular culture now to where it's acceptable to talk about UFOs, UAPs, underwater phenomena, whatever that is. Um, but we've actually had this in popular culture since the 1940s here in the United States. And there's a big shift to where instead of being secretive about it, the government is now going, well, let's talk about it. I smell a ruse.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess a ruse in the sense that it's like a distraction, I think, to other things that are happening in our government in the world, right? It's easier to for all of us to be, oh my god, aliens, than oh my god, war in Iran, you know? It's kind of what I
Right,
imagine what that would
right,
be.
because it kind of begs the question, why now?
Hmm.
If the government has supposedly been, investigating this since the 1940s, why now in 2026 has it somehow become something that we need to talk about, something that the government needs to have a task force for. Excuse me, but I'm saying like I can't even afford healthcare, and we're spending millions of dollars on a UAP task force. I'm a little offended. Quite honestly, I don't care if my neighbor is an alien. And when I can't go down to the hospital and get checked out, I mean, how is it relevant?
There's there's a task force.
Yes, there is. There was a UAP task force. Gosh, I can't believe Steven Spielberg has a film
Yeah,
coming
that
out.
I
So
know about.
you're a filmmaker,
Yeah.
right? He has the film coming out about this disclosure day. And there has been for years now a task force to investigate this as part of our national security.
Hmm.
So they are spending. I mean, those people are on the payroll, and yet we can't get healthcare here in the United States. And so when we talk about the nature of media and propaganda, that's why I say I smell a ruse.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but the War of the Worlds back
I
in the
read the
day,
book and I saw the 2005 movie. Yes.
right? And that they had the broadcast
Hmm.
of it, right? Where oh, what was his name?
Was it Tom Cruise's character?
Probably I didn't see the movie.
Or you talking about the author H.G. Wells?
Yeah, but there was a broadcast where the best known broadcaster of the time
Oh,
sort of read it
yes.
on the
Yeah, yeah,
radio,
sorry.
radio
I understand what you
broadcast,
mean, yeah.
and a lot of people didn't realize that it wasn't real, and so they panicked, and, then afterwards it came out like, "Oh, okay, that wasn't a real
Hmm.
thing." The thing about it is whenever you have the society in a state of fear,
Hmm.
they will always sort of rally around the government. They will look to the government for help.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm kind of saying, what's the play here? What are the psyops on telling us now in 2026 that, oh yeah, there's aliens. We have proof of the UAPs. Oh, not only that, but some very high up world leaders have been saying, there is something called the Galactic Federation. Have you heard this?
No. Like real, not like I
Yes.
watched
Okay.
like Star Trek. I loved X Files.
No,
We're
no,
doing real stuff.
this is all real news. So, I know that there were two sort of government people, not so much from the United States. One was the Israeli Secretary of
Mm,
Defense, former Israeli Secretary of Defense, who is now retired,
okay.
is on the record 100% as saying there is a galactic federation made up of different types of aliens. One of our own scientists, physicists that has worked with the government says, yes, there are four types of aliens. And I'm going to try to name them all, but I'm not sure if I know them. Some are called Nordics, right? And they remarkably look like people from Sweden.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. There's others called gray, the gray aliens, right?
Okay.
There's reptilians
Hmm.
that look like, reptiles, I guess, humanoid type reptiles. And then there's a third one. I want to say avians.
And they're are they also humanoid, but they're like bird like?
Right. And I'm thinking the avians, I know I've heard of avians, but I
Hmm.
might get that mixed up with that show that was on TV, Alien,
Oh,
Resident
Resident Alien.
Alien.
But I mean, avians.
He has the avian
Oh,
girlfriend.
really?
Yeah, you
I'll
haven't
have
seen
to
it?
watch now that
It's
I'm.
hilarious. I love that show so much. Resident Alien, if they would have made 10 more series of it, I would have just kept watching because the guy was so good
The actor
at the
is great.
character. But yes, okay, so these people, these fairly high up government officials
Hmm.
are on the record as saying, yes, these things are real. Yes, we've talked to them. They've been working with our government since forever. And it's only now it's only now that the American public is, I guess, able, I don't want to say intelligent enough. I mean, what were they
Yeah,
waiting
like
for?
they're waiting for AI to rot our brains, and then they
I
want.
think
They're
so.
like, what?
I think we have brain rot enough that we're like, we can make contact now, that it's okay to make contact.
It feels like that concept in like cosmic horror where it's like you see something so big and outside of your grasp but like you can't handle it and it makes you mad. This feels like the opposite of that. Like we're finally at a level where we can say this and the American public will be like, uh-huh.
Yes, Patty, you have such a good point. Everything in the United States has become so absurd since January 1st till now.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that we've gone through, that why not aliens? I mean, why not? Why not just see some lizard
But
creature walking down the
and
street,
see, but
shaking your
that's
hand?
kind of where I almost want to call like, can I curse? Bullshit
Sure.
on that because the basis of how you're describing all of these types of aliens that they're claiming, they're all humanoid, which I do believe there is life out there, right? There's the
Uh-huh.
galaxy's so big, there's no way it's just us. And
Right.
especially like intelligent life. But I think realistically, more likely they wouldn't look like us. They wouldn't resemble us
Why
in
don't they look like an octopus?
yeah, or like if you've seen Project Hail Mary, absolutely beautiful film. If it's I loved it. But there's a good chunk of the movie Ryan Gosling's character is speaking with an alien or communicating with and he's like a rock. This weird like
Yes.
quadrupedal rock guy. And I think more likely and it spoke in like clicks and shapes and diagrams rather than words. And he had like
Right.
there's a chunk of the movie where he's figuring out how to communicate, translate those sounds into audio or into voice, right? That I
Uh-huh.
think more realistically, that's what alien contact would look like. It would be some like abstract form that we have to do crazy math to compute into something we can understand. Right?
Well,
I'm
have
like,
you read Neil deGrasse Tyson's new
I have
book,
not.
Take Me to Your
I
Leader?
have not.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about on my next
Okay.
podcast. But you really have to because I think you're right on board with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he's saying, why are we anthropomorphizing these things
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
assuming that they somehow have two legs and two arms and a head like us?
yeah.
Why would they be that way?
Because if anything, I think it's just very human. Like, I mean, how we like treat our pets, right? We anthropomorphize everything because we need to make everything something that we can digest and understand easily Because if we don't, right, it's kind of like, I guess, the concept in cosmic horror where like you see something so far outside of your understanding, it makes you insane, right?
Right.
So we're gonna always try to make everything as close to believable and understandable for us in the best way possible, which is why to me the four types of alien in the Galactic Federation being like basically human hybrids is what it sounds like to me, right? Bipedal. They
Yes.
speak to us. They're reptilian and avian, both species that are common and exist on Earth.
And Swedish,
And
by the
so
way.
yeah, so, yeah, the four types being reptile, bird, Swedish, and conspiracy theory
Gray.
gray aliens that
Yeah.
we've been like they're probing us.
Yeah. Apparently the gray ones are us from the future.
Sure,
That's what we're gonna look like in a million years from now.
when the sun
But
goes down, whatever. Yeah.
speaking of the future and the past, so that brings me sort of to my next thing. And I've been reading this great book called Mutants and Mystics by Jeffrey Kripal, who was a mentor to me back in the day before I lived in Nepal. Um, but he talks about how all of our comic book heroes come from the same idea of putting like aliens, superpowers, and then what we think of as sort of gods into this whole human existence. And that maybe the reason that we're seeing them this way as us is because we can't see them any other way. It goes through the theory of like observation. Like I can only observe something that my mind can compute.
Mm-hmm.
There is a school of thought that is saying, oh, yes, all of these things are happening around us all of the time. It's just that our five senses don't pick up on the fact that this other type of being is like, maybe right here in this room with us. We can't sense it. Now, if we have the sixth
Mm-hmm.
sense, maybe we could. But again, with the aliens and the UAPs, the phenomenon that people are reporting now is not so much I saw a spacecraft, but that I saw a glowing orb or that type of thing.
Okay.
So the Neil deGrasse Tyson book, which he's an astrophysicist, right? He breaks it down. He breaks down physics, he breaks down all of this stuff, and then he kind of debunks a lot of stuff. What he doesn't do very well is conceptualize a non-physical world
Mm-hmm.
because by definition of what he does, he's
Yeah.
physics. So he's in this physical realm, and a physical realm that has to be quantified by what we already know.
Mm-hmm.
So, as fun as it is to kind of talk and laugh about it, there's another part of me that's like, we don't know what we don't know. We, 1,000 years ago, everything that we're doing now with even with this podcast, people would have thought we were aliens, that we were somehow magic, gods, all of this stuff. We would be the mystics and mutants if they were seeing 1,000 years into the
Mm-hmm.
future. So, maybe as smart as Dr. Tyson is, he just doesn't have the bandwidth
Mm-hmm.
for it, right? You can be the smartest human ever, but you can't be smarter than whatever your human limitations are unless you are that thing, unless you are the gray alien that's working with the
Yeah.
government, specifically Canada, Israel, probably Russia,
Yes.
definitely China,
Yeah.
and 100% with Donald Trump. So here's the thing. This is what really caught me is a few months ago, JD Vance actually on the record was like, oh yeah, the aliens are real and they are demons. They are demons. He legitimately called them demons. And I was like, how is the vice president of the United States like talking about this when, before if I'm Mary Smith living on the farm and I say I saw an alien, I'm shamed into not talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And possibly threatened by the government. And now you have the vice president of the United States going, yeah, they're real. And not only are they real, but also they are demons. I mean, how did we get to this paranormal
It sounds
place?
absurd.
It does sound absurd, but what if it's real?
I mean, I absolutely like it wouldn't to me it wouldn't like would it be crazy? Sure, but it wouldn't be like out of possibility that it is real, right? I still like we're not alone out there, right? Sure.
No, we're
And
not.
I'm kind of like the demon part that feels like to me one of those things where like as humans, but also I think especially Americans, right? The minute we see something we don't know, bad, scary, demon, right?
It's
Like
demonized.
great examples, Salem witch trials, right? They were doing
Right.
rituals that they didn't understand, whatever, and it's immediately they're witches, witchcraft,
Uh-huh.
bad, scary,
Yeah.
demons, right? Evil. And it feels like okay, so let's if we're going, yes, all this is let's take everything at face value. It is real. So him going, they're demons. Now people are going to be afraid. So what if they're not? And it's
Yeah.
immediately sending a bad message. So
Right. What if they aren't? Well, there's a whole big community of UFO supporters that are saying like, "Oh no, they're not demons, they're our friends." And then you've got the other side that's like, "You better watch out who you're calling friends.
yeah,
You don't know." I mean, the Spaniards looked like friends to
the
the
Native
native
Americans.
people of the
Yep.
Americas before before they were here.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it opens up a lot of food for thought. Um, why this is happening now, what's going on here, and then how does it relate? I mean, you and I are content
Mhm.
creators. So, I mean, we work in ecotourism. That's a lot of fun. I mean, somehow this is all relatable. I have to say, like, we work in our own magic realm.
Yeah.
What we do is magic. And we know, like, when we put the right energy behind something, that it's going to turn out right.
Absolutely.
We work with a phenomenon, the bioluminescence phenomenon that we see here in Florida, and we're next to the Space Center. We're ripe for like being right in the middle of this Bermuda Triangle of
Mhm.
UFOlogy. I haven't seen anything yet. Although a rocket blew up last
I
night.
heard about that.
Yeah, I heard
You
it in my
did?
house.
Ooh.
That was the closest to a glowing orb I have seen, and that was a big one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know where this is going with the UFO thing. It's on my radar. Every time I walk out the door at night, I like kind of say like, aliens, I do not want to see you right now. I am not
Yeah.
ready. Right. I don't know because I don't want to have any kind of ontological shock.
Yeah.
But I'm good with where I am. I'm good with not knowing everything.
Yeah.
I like living in a mystery world.
I'm
I don't want to know
I
everything.
mean, that's why like ignorance is bliss is a phrase, right? I think I keep mentioning cosmic horror. I don't know why, but just that concept, right? Of like you can know too much. If you know something that you can't understand, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
knowing too much hurts you sometimes. Sometimes you want to be in the
That's a
dark.
real thing in metaphysics,
Yeah.
right? So when we talk about like in energy work, the Kundalini
Mm.
awakening, a lot of gurus would say that's not something that you might really want to happen because when you become so awakened like that with, let's say, spiritual energy,
Mhm.
it can be too much for
Yeah.
you. It can be too much for the human mind or the human condition. And I broke it down today when I was talking to my husband, and we go on our daily walks and we talk about these things. And I said, you know what? Whether all of the alien stuff is true or not true, whether our possibility to become enlightened beings in the Great Awakening that is happening now is true or not true, I'm not going to be the one sitting and staring at my navel in the end because I believe that I am on this earth in a human form in this earth realm for a reason,
Mhm.
right? And my reason, my purpose, my mission, whatever that is not it's to live in this world. It's to have the adventures of this world. It's to have the tactile experiences, the pleasures, the pains, the suffering, whatever goes along with being human. I feel like that's my purpose, that's your purpose. And we can, wonder about these things and have some fun with it. Like I like talking about it for entertainment. But the minute you take it too seriously and you go down that rabbit hole, that's where you're losing your mind.
Mhm.
That's the cosmic
Yeah.
horror. And there's just no reason to go there. At the end of the day, be a good person, have a bunch of fun, have a good life. If you see a UFO, pull out
Your
your
phone.
pull out
Yeah.
your phone and try to get a video of it and contact MUFON.
MUFON.
Yeah, the Mutual UFO
Oh,
Network.
there's a okay.
Patty, you gotta keep up.
I guess I yeah, I'm
This is 2026. I'm a Gen X. You're a
yeah.
Gen Z.
I guess I'm too wrapped up in my fictional aliens because I've been watching Star Trek Picard. I watched that Project Hail Mary. That's
Yeah.
one of those concepts that I enjoy in a fictional aspect, not in real
I'm
life. Don't bleed it in.
I gotta give you Mutants and
Yeah,
Mystics
that sounds
when I'm done reading
interesting.
it because you will love it. It's the inception of, even again back in the
Mhm.
1940s, where did we get these superheroes like Superman and
Yeah.
all of that? And then how did it morph into more Star Trek type things? And how does that relate with thinking that gods are aliens and aliens are
Mhm.
gods, which is what people are saying these
Yeah.
days. It's like, oh, it's the same thing. It came from the sky, so
Mhm.
back in the day, they called them gods, but today we're calling them aliens or
Mhm.
whatever. Are they the same thing? I don't
I
know.
have a Marvel movie that would be, or Marvel movie and cast of characters that would be interesting to you that fit into this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's a whole book is
That's cool.
about Marvel, and
Oh,
it
they
was
probably talk about the same.
it's about Marvel. It's about the conception of Marvel and DC
That's
Comics.
cool.
And the reason that I know about it is way back in the early 2000s, before I went to
Mhm.
Nepal. So I was going to get a PhD in religious studies, Gnosticism, esotericism, and
Mhm.
mysticism. And Jeff Kripal is like one of the foremost scholars of that here in the United States, and they're at Rice University. And at the time, I was working in anime, and I was also a Reiki master. And he was really interested in that and thought I would be a good PhD candidate for their program based on what I knew. And I had already kind of signed up myself to go to Nepal. And he's like, "Great! Oh my gosh, you're going to Nepal!" And we were like rolling all of this together. And he told me about this book, Mystics and Mutants, way before it was ever published, and we talked about DC Comics and Marvel, and I was working in anime at the time, and this was even before Doctor Strange came out.
Okay.
But he knew that the esoteric traditions of Nepal, with the flying llamas that fly in between the
Mhm.
Himalaya and stuff like that, was right on par with what he was talking about and researching for his book. So now it's been out for quite a long time. My own book that's coming out, I reference it and reference that conversation with Dr. Kripal with UFOs. There's even a little quite UFO incident at the end of my book. Doesn't happen to me. It happens to one of the characters, but it's all in there. It's part of our life. Well,
Cool.
anything else I can educate you on in the popular culture UFO train wreck that's happening right
I
now?
mean, anything you could. I literally didn't know any of that. Like, I hadn't heard of
Well,
any. I'm,
guess what? Now that we're talking about it, your phone's gonna blow
yeah,
up.
it is.
Next time you go on social media, you're gonna see UFO, aliens,
Yeah.
and all of this stuff. Are they real?
Mhm.
Am I here to convince you? I'm not sure. But let me know if you have a CE5 encounter. Close encounter of the fifth kind means you actually are like talking to them, real
So
contact.
wait, are the? Because I know again of the movie of Close Encounters of the Third Kind or third.
Oh yeah, there's 5 kinds
So
now.
is that like the level of
Patty, you got to keep
interaction you
up.
have with them, or is that like, oh,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, like the first kind is I spotted a UFO. The second kind is
oh,
I don't know, we retrieved some craft. The third is like no, the third is contact.
hmm,
The fourth is like abduction, and the fifth is like
we're buddies.
constant
Yeah.
communication. Yeah, like I can call them up. They're in
Oh,
my consciousness. It's a whole
whoa.
it's a whole
It's like
thing.
degrees of closeness, I guess. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
the close encounters. Yes. So until next time,
Yeah,
Patty, keep your eyes in the skies, keep your phone ready, and keep your mind open.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me. This has been Pink Culture Talk.
Yes.
I'm Sandra BK. This is my guest,
Thank you
Patty.
for having me.
She works for us at BK Adventure. Till next time.